What's going on YouTube? Well, been a few weeks, a few months since my last video. As you can see, upgrading the shop a little bit. Had a little deck project going on, or a loft I should say. Got some new oven and powder coating booth. And then, yeah, still working with the skyline. So, last video I finished everything. My issue was I installed everything, got it to run, didn't have a gasket on the CAS. I pushed the CAS in too far. The CAS actually snapped. I'll show you guys a picture or what it looks like. But where the shaft goes into the cam, it completely snapped because of that gasket wasn't on there. Fixed that, got a new CAS, put it in, got it running. So now I am just waiting on two things. I'm waiting on some fittings. I had a buddy of mine custom make me a oil catch can that's baffled. The reason why the vent is there. Anywhere else it would have been hitting the battery and everything. I'm not trying to do a battery relocation just yet. So you're waiting on the 12 AN fittings for the hoses, and then a tune after that. So after a tune gets in, I should be back on the road driving this thing around, making more YouTube videos about it, hopefully. Got some other things that I'm kind of organizing because of the loft. I had to pull some things out and away from the walls and areas that I was plugging in, or I guess working on. But today we are working on the Z. As you guys probably just saw, maybe. Got a nice OMP seat, Sparco harness, some fluids and stuff. Got the seat and the frame and the belt all from OG Racing. I'll tag them in this video too. Cool people. Their service with ordering parts, asking questions, top tier. They helped me out right away. Was able to get things out the door, shipped fast for this upcoming drift event. Speaking of the drift event, I made a whole video of me putting in a Tomei two-way differential in the Z. Also going for an alignment and everything. Just to realize after the diff came out and I was installing it, that the camera had accidentally put it in a slow motion mode. So the entire installation of the two-way was just completely not good, and didn't really dawn on me until I was editing the video, and then I got mad, threw it away, deleted everything, just to realize, oh man, I could have fast forwarded it and just did a voiceover. Yeah, I'm an idiot. So it happens, whatever, I don't care. It's just showing progress, I guess, and yeah, not really bent out of shape too hard. But today I will be installing the seat. Once the seat is in, I'm doing some lines, some brake lines, stainless steel brake lines. I do have some leftover fluid. I might drain and refill the diff before the event. I spent the entire couple weeks breaking the diff in, went to get an alignment. I just got some brand new tires for it, so I will be swapping the tires out soon, and just going over everything. So cool, we'll get it all set up and I'll start taking the seat out. See you in a minute. Alright, so we're going to take the seat out, and then don't mind the pollen. It's springtime in North Carolina now. It's going to get messy. You're probably going to see pollen all over the place. Get this seat out, line up the frame just to make sure everything fits, kind of mock up where the seat is going. I also have a graffiti K-bar harness bar that I'm also going to install as well, thanks to Injuku Racing. So I'm going to get you guys in here. Seats, I mean, kind of self-explanatory. 1, 2, and then 2 in the front there and over there. They're 14 mil. Take that out, and then the seat should be out here shortly. I moved it forward because I'm a bigger dude. It's going to be harder to get me back there, and I just didn't want to have my butt in the screen the whole time. Bam, easy day. Man, look at all them pins. Another thing you want to look for is under the seat you have a wire harness that is pretty sure how the seat knows you're sitting in it. It's a safety feature, so you just unplug it like that and the seat should come right out. And if you guys are upgrading to a bucket seat like I am, don't think the sensors are going to be on there still, but essentially just put your frame back in. Your seatbelt light might be on. But before I throw in the seat and start testing that as well, I need to take a couple things off. Seatbelt, well, actually, don't even really need the seatbelt because since I will be going to a 4-point harness with my harness bar, but I might go and clean this area up. Got some free pins though, kind of cool. But I'm gonna go get my vacuum out all this area before I move on. Whoa! So, I believe the last video ended. My camera died, so now it's been a few weeks. Some things have happened. I've learned some things. Clearly, still working on the 350. As you can kind of see, the seat is now back out of the car. The reason why I had ordered, if I can find it. So this is the, I guess, problem child here. I have a planted seat with the OMP seat brackets for the sides when I had ordered it. Installing it on the floorboard, you can kind of see you have almost about 2 inches of height between the base where it bolts up to and then where the OMP seat rails will go. From there you can adjust it with these holes. However, I was finding it difficult. If you look straight on, you can kind of see how you have to line up certain areas, like there where this hole is, won't line up anywhere up there. And then if you were to bring it back, you can see there and there will line up. However, it brings the seat back almost to the very back end, and then won't fit inside of there. So I'm about roughly 270 pounds, and I'm also 6'4". This is designed, it says right there, for tall. But when talking with the gentleman from the company I bought my racing seat from, he said that it will put your racing seat as like stock height. Because I'm so tall, my head was maybe an inch off of the ground. So, talking with a buddy, he told me to go to Drift HQ and pick up a set of these seat rails, which again, they bolt on the side of the seat rail, or the racing seat itself, but the bracket is set up to sit as low as possible. And as you can see, the seat is almost, if not touching, the ground back here. So perfect for tall guys like me, 6'4". Plenty of space with my helmet on to rock the seat, helmet, bucket seat, and your knees aren't bashing the steering wheel, because as you can see, it's a stock steering wheel. Don't have a quick disconnect or anything yet, so it's coming. But today, I have the seat back out. Center console is kind of almost back out, because we are doing GkTech hydraulic e-brake. That's going to be another video, but GkTech dual e-brake is going to be today. So let's get back into it, and I will get everything set up, and we'll get the center console. 4 bolts are already out. 1, 2 on the other side. 3, 4. Actually, there's 5 underneath here as well. Bam, 5th one there. Center console pops straight out. Make sure you get this clip and then slide it straight off. Oh. Giving you access to all of this. And then from here, I'm going to basically do what I've seen everybody else do, just running the e-brake through here, going up, mounting it here. You have to take this collar off, take this piece, which I'm pretty sure they were saying where your air conditioning controls. Tuck that guy either further back or tuck it up, and then kind of get it back in there. And so, in a few hours, the center console is now taken off. A few things you have to consider before installing the beautiful GkTech with the bracket that goes inside the center console. One, if you have said radio inside said center console or head unit, like I do, there are some things you're going to have to move out of the way. Your climate control little adapter box piece will have to be disconnected, so it sits in there kind of like this. You pull that out. I unplugged it, got everything out of the way. As you can see, there is a metal tab here and a metal tab there. Within those pieces sat this piece, and this guy literally sits just like that. It's not used for anything that I know of. All the other videos that I've watched, they've disconnected it or got rid of it. So I just took a Sawzall, cut it, trimmed it up a little bit so it sits nice and easy and flush within there. You just have to kind of push the bundle of wires from your head unit back to make room for this guy, which will sit also back under here as well. It goes far back. You can kind of jam it up in there. But the reasoning for that is so you can get your master cylinder back there. So for right now, I am going to test fit it. Got the lines going out back. I'm going to route this line down the center console into the trunk, and I would have to do more to tap with these guys in the back trunk back here, go down and then come out through there, which I might do tomorrow. I hear some thunder. It's going to be raining probably here in the next couple hours. That is just North Carolina weather for you. So test fit this. I'll show you guys what that looks like. I'll route the line, and then tomorrow get back into it, finish the installation, finish the actual video from weeks before, whenever I had a longer beard and all that. Yeah, and I'll post it up on YouTube. See you in a bit. So it's the next day. I have come back out before the storm hits. I don't know why my neighbor is now cutting his yard now, but to give you guys a good look at what it looks like with the center console e-brake. As you can see, that climate control box is tucked kind of underneath where it would sit right about here. I kind of trimmed it down a little bit and then tucked it up underneath that spot. There's some pieces like that you just have to zip off, wire wheel off, not wire wheel, but Dremel off, and it'll slide all the way in the back. So tires off, taking the caliper off first, hitting it with 19mm, break them off, remove that. Once caliper is off, single-handedly remove your rotor, toss it off to the side. There you will see your beautiful luscious e-brake. Now you're going to take spring off here. Spring off in there, right above where your e-brake cable goes. And then you will remove this assembly. Going to take the cotter pin out and remove the axle nut. I already went ahead and removed the axle nut from the differential there, so that is all ready to be pulled out. Take this off first, and then we'll take off the e-brake after. Grab it and yank that son. Toss it off the side. That's going to be trash. You don't want to ever reuse your cotter keys. Little tip of the trade from the Marine Corps. Next, you're going to grab your 32mm socket, slap it up on there, grab old Big Bertha here, make sure you're in the pull out position, ram it up on there, let her eat, boys and or girls. Nut comes off, stash that to the side. Now you can remove your axle. I'm going to be right back because that's a two-handed job. Make sure when you are taking out your axle, you're watching out for your e-brake cable. It's going to be jammed in there, and it's going to make life a lot more trickier. Two-handed job. Now we are going to take off the e-brake assembly, starting with top spring, bottom spring. It'll all collapse. I'll pull it off. Another two-handed job. You got this. Now that the springs are out, and that spacer or the adjuster is out as well, I don't know the actual term, so don't sue me for that. You're going to take your flathead, push it down, rotate, and it's going to unlock the pins that hold the e-brake shoes in place. Behold. There's one. Dos. That's two in Espanol. I put it all together kind of how I would putting it back in place, so that way when I go to put it back in, I know where everything is. From here, you're going to go and take this little doodad where the e-brake cable goes into, if you can kind of see it. If not, let me go get some light. So from here, you can see the e-brake cable is connected to this little, I'm guessing it's like a spacer, but also like a lever, so when you pull it, it actually expands. You will need to go in, and if you can see it, if it can focus, there's a small little pin that's located right where the tip of my finger is, and it connects the e-brake cable to this little lever, e-brake lever piece. So you're going to use a punch and then punch it out either forward or back. Just make sure you don't lose that pin. Lever, the little pin that goes in it, just sits in there like so. Don't lose it. Next thing to do in this amazing project, you're going to remove the e-brake cable from the back, and then you're going to remove this little shelf it sits on. If you look, you can see roughly where the e-brake sits. There's this bolt here, a nut right above it, and a nut on the opposite side. This, I believe, is a 14, and then the two nuts are 17. Two-handed job, remove that. Tab is now off, the two nuts, 14 mil. Make sure that all gets situated here. Your e-brake, it's going to be all hangly dangly down there. Just leave it there. take your hub off. These are going to be finger guesstimated, maybe 17s, possibly 18s. Grab old Big Bertha right there and ram jam these things off, taking the knuckle off. After you and Big Bertha played nicely getting those little hub bolts out, rip this sun gun out. Okay, maybe not the whole. After you remove the hub from the knuckle, you're going to clean up this area here. Dust shield's down here. You're going to clean this area up. I'm going to give it a little quick spray with some brake cleaner. A wipe down with a nice rag, maybe a couple nice rags. I'm not going to make this spick and span, and I am going to paint over all the caked up brake dust that this thing has. I'm not going to media blast it. It's just a dust shield. You guys are wanting perfection off of a drift car. You can suck it. With the dust shield off though, I'm going to lay the GkTech bracket that they have nicely provided to me. You're going to lay it out. You can see the grooves where the dust shield has these nice little fancy bends to it. These are typically where you're going to cut. So base of this one, top of this one. Make sure it's all nice and clean. Give it a quick spray paint job. Once you get those areas cut off, helps prevent the corrosion from building up. Again, I'm just wiping it down with some brake cleaner and some rags before cleaning up this area as well, and then getting everything put back together. Now that I've got all my lovely parts sitting in front of me with the GkTech bracket, the new caliper, all the new hardware, the grommets for the lines that are underneath the grommet box, I will now show you. Here is your GkTech bracket. These spots that I was pointing out, like I said, base of this one, top of this one. You're going to cut it off with a Sawzall, but make sure you do not cut this rim piece here. You're basically going to cut down to it and then follow it like a good little boy or girl. Line it up like such, paint it, clean it, and I'll be back to throw it on to this clean part once that's done as well. I have 32% battery life on my camera now, so I'm going to try to rush through all this. I'll be back once this is all cut off and ready to go. This area is now cleared. As you wait for your dust shield to dry with all the haggard paint that you just wanted to spray on there, you're going to sort out your equipment and make sure that you have these long bolts going through the knuckles, not to be mistaken through the long bolts that go to the caliper right there. So these long bolts here compared to these long bolts here, you can see these are the caliper ones because I have the big spacer in between, but to compare them side by side, the ones that go through the actual knuckle there is going to be a tad bit longer than the ones that go through the caliper with the spacer, just so you guys are aware. While I'm still waiting for the dust shield to dry, I'm also going to add a note here. This GkTech whole package is pretty self-explanatory. So the line, you can see it's labeled, it says going to the T-piece. This is the only side that has a swivel little union on it. The other side that says to caliper, obviously it doesn't. You're going to use the copper washer that GkTech supplies on this to this. I'm going to go ahead and thread it in now, get everything all prepped up, ready to go, while I'm still waiting on everything to dry. But you're going to want to torque this to the caliper, so that way when you have it all ready to go, you just bolt it up and then just feed it through the hole that you have it up top. I'm going to take these off though, so in the future, whenever you see this line again, you won't see which one's which. I'm just letting you guys know they have these little decals that show which side goes where. Also going to add these as well. They were also in the kit. It's just GkTech letting everyone know, hey, if you're running this, you need to be using this, and if not, if you're running Brembo calipers or non-Brembo calipers, you got to do either this or that. So these will be also supplied within the kit as well. But since I know what I'm kind of doing because the other side's complete, yeah, everything's all done. Everything's dried, looking kind of freshy fresh, but you know, the best what I can do. You can see the actual back plate is on, the dust shield is now on, and I've got all 4 of those bolts. I believe these are torqued to 65 foot-pounds. I'm going to double check. I'll let you guys know here in a second, but I'm going to start throwing this guy on and getting everything assembled back before throwing the caliper that is now equipped with the line and torqued ready on. Yes, these are torqued to 65 foot-pounds. Also, before I forget, make sure you guys are throwing in your little hub spacer. I'll try to slap it on the ground and make it all nice and clinky. Make sure you install your spacer on the back side of the hub. So going in from the back, popping it in there. This will prevent, I'm guessing, any axle like movement, but it also makes up for the gap there on the actual lip, or excuse me, the bracket. So yeah. Slap that guy in there like that and torque those down. Be right back. Okay, so after you have installed and torqued your hub bolts with the spacer on the back, then you're going to put your axle back in, and then at the axle shaft portion of the differential, the nuts and bolts gets installed, and you will torque those to 52 foot-pounds also. Once the axle is back in and everything is torqued down on it at 52 foot-pounds, you are then going to switch gears, put your e-brake little shelf back in. These 2 nuts are going to be torqued to 65 foot-pounds, and that's that piece right there. So after this gets put back in, that little 14 millimeter nut or bolt goes back on as well. That little bolt is torqued to 16 to 19 foot-pounds. From there, we are going to put our nut, big boy nut, wherever it went, there it is, back on to said shank of your axle. And if it will go back out. So from there, you're going to thread it all the way down, and then you're going to adjust. Actually, you're going to try to get it as close as possible, because what you're going to have to do with that spacer from GkTech that they provided, you're not going to be able to put a cotter key back inside of it. So what you're going to have to do is essentially make your own castle nut. You're going to mark it here with a permanent marker, and then go over to your bench and utilize a grind wheel or cut off disc. Make a little groove or a notch in here, so that way you can slide your cotter pin in to secure that nut safely to the axle. So as you see, ran it all the way down. Kind of gave it some extra ugga-dugga since I can't really torque it until the wheels are on the ground or wheels are back on. So I'm going to cut a decent size gap between there, so that way I can utilize the cotter pin to secure it. So as you can see, got it in. The torque on these nuts are 177 foot-pounds. So instead I just kind of tightened it as much as it could go, and I'm going to slide the cotter key. This will lock it in place not allowing anything to move. I gave it some extra ugga-duggas though, just so it will seat properly. That's as best as I can do, best as I can make it for right now. Still got some wiggle room, but with these ears bent around the nut, I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to back out or anything. So from there, I'm going to start going ahead and throwing the e-brake assembly all back together. After that's done, I'm going to mount the other caliper, and then from there, run the line in the back and then up in the trunk area. Now that I'm at 16% and the e-brake assembly is back all together, I'm going to throw the calipers on. Remember, we are switching to the new hardware. You have 2 long, 2 short. The 2 shorts are going to be on the new GkTech bracket with the new caliper. The 2 long ones are going to be on the knuckle side. Remember, the spacer goes between the actual knuckle itself and the caliper. That's why they are supplied. So, see you back here in a little bit. There we have it. All completed. Everything is torqued. The calipers are torqued to 62 foot-pounds, I believe. It was either 62 or 65. Axle nut's been torqued. Axle nut there has been torqued. Trying to think if there's anything else. Don't see anything. Everything's put back together properly, so that's it. Now we're gonna run into the trunk, and I'm going to run a line, or the line, up. And then from there, connect everything from the front to the back, and then start the bleeding process. Okay, I'm going to try to make this real quick because I only got 13% left on my camera. Don't mind the mess, but utilizing the drill, I took it down to about 7/16, ½ inch, where you can see the silver. I hit it on the spots that I know nothing was underneath, and basically just ran the lines up and through. I used a 7/16 grommet. I kind of had to fold it in on itself. I'm trying to get past the actual union and the nut, and then sliding it down to there. The line has, as you can see, enough movement and everything. It's not going to be pinched or anything crazy. It goes right up into the trunk space. I'm going to run the T-fitting now, connect them, and then it's time to start bleeding brakes. It's now many hours later. All hooked up. Everything good. Now I'm just working on that. So I got the e-brake bled. Line ran back. Tire 1, tire 2's on. So now I'm just working on this piece here. As you can see with all the plastic flakes, I've been using this guy to kind of widen it out. I still need to get it to where I can get the base to sit like right on the inside. But other than that, everything is pretty much in. Going to get the center console, this piece done, and then yeah, get the seat back in, and that'll be the entire video. So the second I get done with the center console, getting all the hardware back in, getting this guy squared away to get fit down on the actual e-brake, I will then put the bucket seat back in, get everything all done up, then go for a test drive. Everything is buttoned up back there. I just got to run the harness back up front, and then next video I've got some other things that I could do, but one thing at a time. So there it is, all in. Everything is put back in order, put back on. Took me a minute because I started off with a circle. Circle didn't work, so I started trimming, got further and further to a point where I was just like, well, I'll just cut a square. Make it clean, but not like, you know, perfect. It doesn't really matter to me. But, yep, works as advertised. I have to go test it on the street tomorrow, but as I was up on the quick jacks, I put it in first gear and pulled the e-brake, and that worked. So that's that. So that's it for me today. Tomorrow I may start working on the exhaust. I got an exhaust manifold, and I actually have a full exhaust that I bought from a friend for pretty cheap. So I might throw those on. I also got a angle kit right there. So that'll probably also be getting installed. But yeah, I'm going to throw the bucket seat back in, and then tomorrow I'll take it for a test drive, and I'll probably take you guys with me. So thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to see more, just let me know. Alright, take it easy. P.S. The e-brake works. Took it out for a test drive today. Everything's good. Everything works well. That's the setup. I went with Likewise. A little drippy drip. Matches kind of. And then this is possibly my next video. If not, some of these things. Alright, bye.